wasn't sure what to expect with the words improv science, um, but it was seeing something that I already sort of believed, but in a different light. And so that's this idea of mentoring and development, and we can share sort of the same goal with things, but be approaching it from two not necessarily different perspectives, but they're they overlap a little bit, but that's it's they're not so far apart from each other that you can't mesh the two things together. So with the improv aspect, in my mind, that was just, oh, this is another way of looking at this exact same thing, coming up with the exact same kind of solution. Um, I hadn't thought about it before, but I think it works really well.
And when you say looking at the exact same thing, what do you mean by looking at the exact same thing?
Trying to develop the individual. So I think it's in doing the improv or doing the research with undergraduates or in teaching in front of the classroom. In my mind, the overall goal is to develop the individual. And as long as you are making progress towards developing the individual, again, based on things we've talked about with this long-term goal of increasing the overall participation in STEM, making them successful in these endeavors that they undertake, there's no one correct answer that's everybody has to use that's going to work perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Things have to be tailored to groups of individuals, whether it's by discipline or whatever else it might be. And I guess I view the improv science as one of these things that can help with this. Just as research for with undergraduates is another aspect that can help with this thing. Not like it's the silver bullet that takes care of everything.
Right. Right. It's adding to what we have to create opportunities for people and to support them growing.
When we first were told that, okay, this person is coming and she does improv science, our reaction was kind of, improv science? Well, okay, we'll just deal with it, not knowing what to expect. But at the same time, knowing that one of the tendencies of, I won't speak for all scientists, but I'll speak for mathematicians. One of the tendencies of mathematicians is to be very introverted, and
You're trying to be careful. I see
trying to
that.
be careful, yes.
Well, maybe
there's a tendency to be very narrowly focused on the work that you do, rather than having a broader picture of the many different aspects that can come into the work. And so in terms of thinking of this development of an individual, yes, you can focus on, let's work on doing a proof this way, or you need to learn more linear algebra. Yes, those are things that develop an individual in an academic sense, but there is a different sense that's not academic that we've talked about before, you and I. And the improv science, at least according to the words, and in reality it did, it seemed like it was going to tap into this other side of things, which is usually completely overlooked, as it's not directly tied into the academics, so why do we have to do it?
Yes. My experience of what people appreciate is an opportunity to develop a more rounded self in science, right? And that rounded self has to do with being in relationship to other people in science or in mathematics, right? That there's a space, a window of time where we get to see each other as people in the course of doing our research, which we then, for some reason, painfully abstract from ourselves as people, right?
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. I think your reaction to improv science is very common. I think people go, "What?"